Hello and welcome once again to a new adventure here on Trips Travels. This month I took a trip up to Saugerties, New York to stay with my best friend Cliff in a boathouse right on the Hudson River. First off, I want to tell you, if you do some homework, compare airlines, and you book a flight way in advance, you can save some money and it will not break the bank. I flew out of Charlotte early on Friday morning and it was beautiful, watching the sun come up over the clouds, and I love flying. Once my plane landed in Albany, Cliff and Cliff Jr. picked me up, and within an hour, I was eating lunch in Woodstock, New York. That's right, Woodstock, baby. Check another one off the old bucket list. I spent 5 days in upstate New York, and I never imagined how beautiful that area is. I spent time on the Hudson River with some newfound friends and one heck of a fast boat. A big thanks goes out to Sarkis and Christabel and David. I had a ball. I also learned that in-home air conditioning is not a common thing in New York. And I also learned that you never, ever order a hot dog all the way in New York. Not unless you want to get a real funny look. And you can imagine, everybody loves the way I talk in New York. I got to drive up into the Catskill Mountains, and they are beautiful, much like the Blue Ridge Mountains here. The area is full of artists, musicians, and old hippies. And if you're a Bob Dylan fan and a fan of the band like I am, then you may know that in these mountains, Bob Dylan once lived with various members of the band: Levon Helm, Robbie Robertson, Garth Hudson, Rick Danko, and Richard Manuel. They lived in a big pink house way back in the woods. And the band's 1968 debut album, Music from the Big Pink, was partly composed right here. I've always wanted to see this place, where such hits as The Wait and I Shall Be Released were recorded. So Cliff and I made the pilgrimage through the backcountry among twisting back roads and a setting sun coming down over the Catskill Mountains. And there it was, hiding along a long rocky dirt road. It was in this house that Bob Dylan would eventually retreat to write songs in its large basement. A 2-track recording made by Dylan and the band as sort of an audio sketchbook. It came later to be known as the Basement Tapes or the Bootleg Series. The house became known locally as the Big Pink for its pink siding. The band and Dylan himself wrote most of the songs on Music from the Big Pink at or around this house. And the band adopted the name The Band at this very location. So check another one off the old bucket list. I even got the chance to visit the famous Bethel Woods Center for the Arts and Museum, located on the site of the 1969 Woodstock Festival. I stood on hallowed ground where 3 days of peace, love, and music were held that forever shaped the rock and roll world. During the sometimes rainy weekend, 32 acts such as the band, the Grateful Dead, Janis Joplin, The Who, and even Jimi Hendrix performed outdoors in front of over 500,000 people. It is widely regarded as one of the greatest and most pivotal moments in rock and roll history. Inside the museum, there are interactive exhibits which consist of audio and visual experiences. The museum offers exhibits, personal stories, and a multimedia experience about various aspects of the 1960s, including music, fashion, and political protest. It focuses on issues such as the baby boom, the Cold War, civil rights movement, and the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Martin Luther King Jr., as well as the riots that occurred during that decade, all of which contribute to the context of Woodstock. And yep, you guessed it, check another one off the old bucket list. Being a musician myself, you can imagine the excitement I felt visiting such places that hold a special place in rock and roll history. But most of all, I spent a great 5 days with my best buddy Cliff, his dad Cliff Jr., and even Cliff Sr. The boathouse which I stayed in is called Cliff Haven. I was indeed in good company. I was reminded that best friends weather the storms of time and make long distances seem like a hop, skip, and jump away. If you ever want to take an exciting music trip to find some history of the layers of early rock and roll, there's no better trip than to visit Woodstock and Bethel and even Saugerties, New York. You can bet I'll be back soon. Well, that's going to do it for this adventure on Trips Travels. Tune in the first Tuesday in September for another great getaway. And you can find today's show on Trips Travels' Facebook page. Thank you for listening to Trips Travels, only on 92.1 The Big Dog. And until next time, stay country, my friends. This show is dedicated to the memory of Kody Mullis. Please keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. Kody, you are a joy to be around and a great friend of my boys. I'll see you when I see you, buddy. Godspeed.
Let's don't say goodbye. I hate the way it sounds. So if you don't mind, let's just say for now, see you when I see you. Another place, some other time. If I ever get down to your way, or you're ever up around mine, we'll laugh about the old days and catch up on the new. Yeah, I'll see you when I see you, and I hope it's someday soon. God made this whole world round, and maybe it's that way. So the path we go down, yeah, I will cross again someday. And someday I'll see you when I see you. Another place, some other time. If I ever get down to your way, or you're ever up around mine, we'll laugh about the old days and catch up on the new. Yeah, I'll see you when I see you, and I hope it's someday real soon. I hope it's someday soon. See you when I see you. Another place, some other